The Wings of Light carry Pendulum to a top 8 finish for this Kong's Cards tournament. You guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Use discount code MCO40 over at Kong's Cards and you will get the chance to save on your purchase. So we've ran another event here, and you know, I swear these Top Cut breakdowns are a very insightful thing just to kind of showcase what in the world's going on in the meta here. You know, the meta looks like you have a lot of interesting little bits and moving pieces, but I mean, Tier Elements is still a fan favorite deck. Yeah, it might not be necessarily pushing those numbers, as we're going to say across the room here, but you do have to be aware that it is still a contender that is sitting at the meta table, alright? And, you know, even though it could get blown out by Rescue Ace every single match, people are still choosing to play it. And, of course, we have two purely. I swear this deck has become my arch nemesis at this point in time. They always have the draw 4 combo at the bare minimum. And I'm just like, what do you want me to do? Now, the rest of your top cut here, we had Rescue Ace, which Rescue Ace actually ended up coming out on top of the bracket here, which is kind of interesting because, you know, look at how much meta that you have here, and only one Rescue Ace deck was all it took to kind of wrench a lot of the things that were going on in this event. So I find that kind of interesting. And then, of course, we have Manadium, the I guess we can officially call it the Triff Special now, right? And then we have what I'm going to dub as a very, very interesting Labyrinth list. This Labyrinth list is playing Flashing Fire in it as a means to pop some special summon monsters. That's it. It's basically using it as a 4-minute interruption, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, bringing up the rear here is the power of pendulums. And I've been wanting to see somebody cook up some sort of pendulum deck to kind of try to defeat the meta. And we finally have something here. Maybe not the most concrete thing in the world, but you know what? I'll take it. It's always a start, and that's what you want to see. Let's pass on over to those deck lists. Ending our event here was, of course, Rescue Ace in real Rescue Ace fashion, but the thing that draws my attention here is we are playing the Sinful Spoils subdiversion here. Now, we all know how good that this card actually tends to be, but you never really see a lot of people tending to main this. This is actually kind of a little cute tech choice out here. I do think that most people would prefer to have this as a side deck card, as something to kind of have, you know, access to, but the fact that we kind of are dropping this on into this is pretty good. And then, of course, you do get to see Plazimo down here actually getting the chance to kind of matter. And then, of course, I mean, you're doing the Ricardo plays, and this build is maxing out on triple copies of SP Little Knight. I can already hear the wallets of budget players screeching internally as we see this. But outside of that, I think this build actually is kind of cool. The fact that you get such a different meta-analysis of all things actually is really, really cool. All right, what else we got going on back here? Oh boy. Well, it's the Bra and Poke special. Let me tell you, we see this deck every single one of these Kong's Cards tournament, and they always tend to do so very well. And I think it does kind of prove how much they've had the chance to kind of figure out the ins and outs of this strategy and optimizing the build for the things that they want to play, because Bysteals tend to work out extremely strong. See that we're playing a Heartbeat now, we're maximizing on Scream, and of course, the power of Super Polymerization being the best board breaker that you can kind of pick on up here. And of course, I mean, we're citing TC Boo, right? Why would this deck not want to have the chance to just laugh at your opponent and limit it to one monster type on the field at a time? I think a lot of people also kind of underestimate how super good this card is, especially if a tier board is just kind of cruise controlling on along. They can play around this. It's not a problem whatsoever. So, incredible. What else we got going on back here? The Triff Special is, we're now going to dub this. I see that we've gotten a little bit saucier here. Now, this build dropped Forbidden Droplet. Droplet felt like one of those cards that when we saw it see play, it felt incredible. All right, it was just absolutely amazing. But this list doesn't really care if it has it or not, which understandably so. I don't. It helps, but I think they were going for more of the mileage here with the Crow, which I think it did work out really, really well. Of course, I mean, most of your side deck stuff tends to stay the same. And then, of course, siding the reframing. I feel like that's become a little bit more of a generalized consensus now. Having access to the reframing post-side deck just kind of feels like a much better approach overall instead of kind of bulking things down. I see that we are playing a Doomsday Star in here as well. Overall, a little bit different opinion in terms of tech choices, but I like that. Those differences really can matter. All right. Oh, boy, Purely. We have gone down the rabbit hole of Purely having to play Lava Golem. Is that a good thing? Have we come full circle now in the meta that Purely is having issues with boss monsters, and now they're forced to play something like this? That's kind of cute. Now, you do see the optimized changes that we were expecting. I mean, you kick out Azalea, you put in the SP Little Knight because it just covers so many more bases. And then, of course, you kind of put a nice little bow on it and you summon out the power of the SP Superstar Slayer 5000 machine and laugh at your opponent. I don't really have much else to say about this. This feels very straightforward and optimized for what Purely wants to do. I mean, you have your tech slots in here. We are, not playing impermanent, so we're dedicating slots to things like this and the talents, so works out. Speaking of changes down here, our 5th place list. The big difference between top 4 and top 8 evidently was Brow. Now, don't get me wrong, all right? We do like some of the little Dark World package that we've seen floating around in this deck. It has done its thing in the past. It is saucy just to get some draw filtering. It also ensures that you can get another one of these kind of resolve. I mean, the biggest problem with this is Hydro and Lockbird. How are you? I didn't want to play the game, Oh, wait, you can just trigger all these during standby phase and it's not going to matter anyway. Well, that's fine. All right, you can do that. I do see that we are signing some of the shufflers down here as well. This is a little bit cute of a tech choice. We've seen some of the OCG builds that were kind of heading towards this, and the fact that it looks like we have something a little bit more consistent to kind of see here is good. And, of course, we are playing it in Symbol Blue. The fact we're not playing the Recital Starling is a little bit shocking, but okay. Okay. Today, I was 8 years old when I realized that somebody realized that Flashing Fire was good in this. Well, where's the rest of the Runic cards, Robbie? Don't really need them. Flashing Fire is just a free, immediate take care of a problem that is spawned on the field. You go ahead and you blow up something. Oh, okay, well, go ahead and get a free mill too as well. It's the random RNG on the, oh, well, what if I don't get a battle phase? Okay, not like I don't have enough traps in the entire universe to be able to handle a problem. All right, and that's what you're going for here. Like, everything here handles itself. It's not a problem. All right, and that's why I actually kind of like this list. I also like the fact that we do have the Yield Gravekeeper's inscriptions down here. Kind of control everything else, and then, of course, good old Doomsday Star. I love the fact we are getting the Unchained package down here as well. Yeah, and interesting little responses. Okay, I see you. What else we got going on back here? We have more tier elements. The thing that always catches my eye here is so many people look at Malicious and they're like, you need this card. It is mandatory. And other people look at the card and they're like, Mally's horrible. I can hear an argument for either or. For this build, it chose to play the Mally versus Braum Poke, who has the build perfected at this point in time. I see that we are playing the Shyama in here as well. I do like this. This card is very, very cute for what you attempt to do. And of course, there it is. There's the card that tips the scales of the meta. I don't have anything else to really say about this. Once again, you have very difference of opinions. You have, 2 versus 3 of the screen, but it comes down to deck building and optimization for those tech choices that you feel are going to be the carries for you. And honestly, there's not really much of a right or wrong. All right, it's just how you play. And then, of course, we have the Wings of Pendulum down here, and I don't blame them. This duelist has been so sick of tier elements running around in these events that they actually brought triple Neko main king down here to counteract it. And I mean, this is definitely the result of knowing your meta. All right, when you're so fed up with a lot of these things, you tend to bring things that will counterpoint the meta. And I don't blame them for this whatsoever. I love when we get the chance to see things like this because it's hilarious. But outside of that, it is kind of cool to see a more optimized Pendulum list. We are playing some DDD stuff in here, so you can go ahead and kind of clear your opponent. Yeah, it's very straightforward. So, what do you guys think about this breakdown? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.